Okay, the BMW CE04 2023 edition avant-garde, metallic gray-ish and black. And I gotta tell you, I've had this for 2 weeks and I waited until now before I talked about it. I traded in two things, a Wave Runner and a Honda scooter to get this, and I still owed some money on it. It's very expensive, but I made a commitment several years ago that every vehicle I would buy from that point forward is going to be electric. Okay, I said 2 weeks, I meant 3 weeks. I've saved $150 on gas at least, maybe more. I've driven this to work every day in that time. Now, it hasn't rained since I got it, but I gotta tell you, I love it. It's amazing. Most powerful bike I've ever driven. BMW says it's equivalent to a 400cc bike. People are calling it electric scooter. Why? Because it kind of looks like a scooter. You got to get used to that seat configuration. This is a comfort seat, and I have, even though it's Florida, it's May, past 3 weeks, the mornings have been chilly at 5 in the morning, and I have used the heated seat and it works flawlessly. Got to tell you, the one thing I was nervous about was the range. Claimed 80 miles on a full charge. That's if you're driving very conservatively. I've gotten it figured out pretty much. The way traffic is in this area, the highway is pretty much like city driving at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I haven't had a problem. But I got to tell you, I was looking at a Zero, and I said, looks like a motorcycle. Got a bigger battery than this. It's also more expensive than this, believe it or not. As expensive as this is, the Zero DS, a couple $1,000s more. Now, I would have probably liked it too, but this thing has a lot of little quirky advantages that are amazing. The whole heated seat, heated grips, the 4 different modes. It's really incredible. And you know what? Its comfort level is insane. The power I feel, now granted, it's supposed to be limited to 75 miles an hour, but let's be honest, it does about 79. But you can feel it limit at 79. It says to you, I am not going to do 80 miles an hour. This is your limit. Fast enough for quick highway jaunts. Would I go on a long road trip with this? Of course not. That's not what it's meant for. It's meant for commuting. And by God, that's what I've been doing for 3 weeks, and it's fantastic. Don't need to even, I've got a 22-mile drive to work, 22 miles back. Do not need to plug it in when I'm at work. I just plug it in at home overnight and bam, ready to go. Have I gotten an electric bill since I got it? Nope. So I don't know how much it's drawn, but I can figure that out. You got to do a little math. Per kilowatt hour, it's 8.6 usable kilowatt hours in the battery. And I got no complaints, I'm telling you. This little gizmo here, pretty amazing. Let me see if I got it, if it's still on. Nope, I gotta start her up again. Yeah, it's starting. You hear that noise? Yeah, of course you don't. Trunk, amazing. I have a double X helmet and it fits. And if you put your charging cord in there, charging cord's pretty thick. Kind of limits the space. You're not going to get a full face helmet and your charging cord in the trunk. Let me tell you what, that light, amazing. And the little glove box button right here. Now, some people will tell you it's got a wireless charger for your phone in there. That's not true. I don't know why they think that. I guess because it's an amazing little cradle that locks your phone in place. It's spring-loaded. But it does have a USB-C plug, and you can charge your phone while it's in there. My only complaint with this, the TFT screen, not a complaint. It's amazing. Visibility is fantastic, even in bright light. I am in Central Florida after all, and I can see it, no issues whatsoever. The complaint is BMW's Motorrad connected app. It's a little bizarre. Now, I have an Apple phone, and you have to connect with it every time you turn it on. And the connection is a little bizarre. You have to be Bluetooth connected and Wi-Fi connected. Now, once you make the connection, it's fantastic. But the problem is, every time you turn the bike off and turn it back on, you have to go through the whole process again. Now, is that a big problem? No. But your phone ends up being on like a screensaver mode, which is bizarre. So you can't really use the phone when you're connected to the bike. And I guess this is a motorcycle thing I'm not really fully aware of. But you have to have your Bluetooth head earpiece or helmet connected to the bike and your phone connected to the bike. You can't have the helmet connected to your phone or Bluetooth device connected to your phone. That doesn't work. So phone to the bike, helmet to the bike, and you're good to go. I haven't got the Bluetooth helmet yet. I've tried multiple earbuds and they just don't work. It doesn't function that way. And of course, Apple doesn't like to play with other people, so AirPods just don't work. They connect to the bike, but you're not hearing anything. Don't understand it. My only complaint. The rest of it, flawless. I love it. It has the power I like. The speed is plenty fast. Don't need any fat. And comfort, I mean, look at the wheelbase, 66 inches. That's ridiculous. It rides, it's 500 pounds. Is it heavy? Yeah. Does it feel like it when you're riding it? Heck no. It's wonderful. I only got a couple, the one complaint over the connection with the app, that's it. And then a couple questions. I don't know if anybody knows the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it. Okay, so, I have a Subaru. I have a keyless Subaru, so I have a key fob, right? Now, there's an emergency key in there you can access by pushing this little button, pull the key out of the fob. If the batteries are dead in the fob, you can still get into the car. You can still start the car. But it's a car. It has doors. The BMW key fob for this bike has a switchblade key. Look at this. Here we go. What's that key for? There's no keyholes on the bike. None. So I don't know what that key's good for. Maybe it's just BMW saving costs using the same fob they have for other bikes, I guess. I don't know. I mean, if somebody knows the answer to that, please tell me. One more thing. When I purchased the bike, along with the manuals and instructions and all the safety warnings and the packet of information they gave me, oh, where did I put it? Let me show you. They gave me this little key, which the salesman who sold it to me told me that this key, it's not just a key, it's a locking mechanism. He said this was for a lockbox that is optional, and obviously you can buy the lockbox to hook to the back of the bike, and that this is just something BMW does. It gives everybody their own key and lock that matches the bike, I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense? Sure, I guess maybe. It doesn't make sense to me, but okay. The only thing I don't have on this bike that I wish I did, well, it remains to be seen whether it's necessary or not. I did not opt for the high-speed charger unit to be attached to this bike, which gives you, when you have a better understanding of electric vehicles, it gives you level 2 charging, which is basically the standard for public charging out in the world. The plug, now let me show you. The plug receptacle is right up here in the front, and it's a typical North American plug, and I've gone to public chargers and the plug fits just fine. Unfortunately, the amperage on the public plug is too high for the bike that I have purchased. All that means is that this bike needs to be, my bike specifically, only has level 1 charging. What does that mean? That's AC 110, regular outlet at home charging. Now, those outlets are everywhere, right? They are, but when you're in public, and now if it's an electric public charger, that's a given. That's what those are for. In order to use those, you will need to give in, and it's about $1,200 to get the level 2 charging ability for your bike. Now at home, that means you can also plug into 230 outlets, a dryer outlet. You'll be able to do that at home, and that accelerates the charging, cuts it in half. The level 1 110 outlet is about 4.5 hours. You don't need to carry your plug around with you. You need to carry it if you know you're going to exceed if you're going more than 60 miles round trip, bring the plug with you, and you will, out of necessity, find a 110 plug you need to plug into. Even if you can only plug in for an hour, it's still going to give you an additional 20, 30 miles that you can go, even on 110, level 1. But I'm telling you, don't miss, don't prejudge these electric bikes. They're amazing. The torque is immediate. It is quick. It looks like a scooter. It's a 400cc motorcycle that happens to be electric, and you don't have to shift through the gears to immediately have full power. It's amazing. And I tell you what, I may, my opinion might change over time, but right now I got 600 miles on it, and I don't want to drive my car. I think about driving this when I'm not driving it. So that's a weird thing to say, but if you've ever had a vehicle that you enjoy that much, I think it's a win. I think it was a good choice. Am I big on saving the environment and going 100% electric? That's kind of a secondary thing for me. The reason I want an electric vehicle, I'll speak for myself, is not because I need to save the planet. Because don't tell me, oh, the rare elements that are in those batteries are worse than mining for oil, and that's not true. I mean, that's not true. And the people who say that don't really care about the earth or mining the rare minerals. They just don't. The reason I got this is this: money. Initially, yeah, currently, you're paying a little more for an electrified vehicle. I understand some people can't. That's why I don't have a car yet. When the car becomes relatively affordable, and it's not a giant SUV or a Hummer or a pickup truck or whatever, and it will, we're getting there, and it's within the range of a ICE car, internal combustion engine, the prices are relatively the same, maybe a couple thousand different, I will buy it, and here's why. There's no oil in this thing. There's no oil pump, there's no air filters, there's no oil filters, there's no fuel filter. There's one belt from the electric motor to the wheel. It doesn't stretch, it may break eventually, but there's no maintenance to these things. You call it what you want. Do the math. Don't just do the math for the gas that you buy. Take that on one column, but take what is the maintenance cost, internal combustion engine versus zero maintenance? I mean, yes, do you have to buy new tires when they wear out? Of course you do. Anything that has friction and it's hitting the road, don't think you have to replace the brake pads as often as you do on a regular bike or car, because you don't. It has regenerative braking. The motor slows it down. I hardly ever have touched the brakes in 3 weeks. To hold myself at a stop, I will hold the brakes. Am I using them to slow down? No, unless it's an emergency, and then you got them. It's got 2 discs on the front wheel, 1 on the back. Brakes are fantastic. Are they anti-lock brakes? Yep. Does this bike have stability control? Yes it does. I've rambled about this for a while. I'll probably edit this down to a couple minutes, but go test drive it. If you have not driven an electric bike or an electric car, then you have no right to judge any of this, because once you drive it, you'll understand. It's ridiculous. It's electric power in these vehicles is so much more comfortable, but you have a new connection to the road when the bike isn't vibrating all the time. You have a connection to the road and the wind, and that's it. The wind is the only thing that makes noise, and road surfaces are going to change the noises coming out of your bike. That is it. It is a revelation. It is a wonderful experience. Everybody needs to try it. Then think about it. If you're not convinced, go do test drives. Then you will be. I guarantee it. All right, we'll see you.